Ever had a problem trying to fix your Dethleffs lock? I'm going to show you how. So if you come to your Dethleffs door and you find your lock just spins, there's something wrong inside. The Habitation door lock seems to be a common problem with Dethleffs, and according to the Dethleffs Facebook pages, it seems many of you have this problem. The only thing is, I don't seem to find a video on YouTube that shows me how to do it, not for my particular model of Dethleffs. So I'm going to attempt to try and do it myself based on some information that I found on the Dethleffs owners page. That's a web page, and also on Facebook. I believe that I'm also going to need a new spring, and that's something that has been recommended that I source from Chris at Reliance CMS based in East Sussex. I'm going to try and show you how to resolve this. I have to take this skin off, this outer skin, and to do that I'm going to have to remove the contents, also the bin, the handle, and I'm going to have to remove the outer shell of the door handle. What I'm using for this is something that I saw on eBay, is a trim removal tool set. You can also get it on Amazon. A flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, just another flathead just in case I need it, and a sharp knife. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to remove the bin which is on the door skin, and you can see that there's some Phillips screws here and here also. Okay, that's the bin off. I'm now going to move to the handle. Obviously I've got to take off these covers, and I believe there's screws under there that I need to remove. The first fiddly bit is trying to get these plastic covers off, and I found using part of the trim removal tool quite handy. So you just need to sort of try and force and ease this off. Phew, that's those off. So keep them in a safe place, and I'm just going to use the Phillips to try and remove the Phillips screw heads. Okay, door handle off. Moving on to the next section, which is the cover to the catch. And that just seems to snap in place, and I'm using the trim removal tool, a larger one, to go around and just ease it off round each edge. And that's come off quite nicely, just leaving me this area here. And I'm just going to use Phillips again just to remove these 3 screws that seem to be holding this this to the actual skin itself. They're out. I'm now going to move on to the skin where it's actually into the inset area around the edge, and I'll be back in a second. So what I've found is that the skin itself needs to be pushed, and if I just show you one-handed, so if I push in, you can see that it starts to snap away. So as I'm going to push in, I'm going to use the trim removal tool to try and ease that out in sections. This is quite fiddly, and I guess a little bit of a leap of faith, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to crack the skin itself. So just be careful, and you can see that, thank goodness, my removal tool pack contained quite a few removal implements. So I'm just working my way around on one side, trying to ease out the shell. I've just had to grab my ladder, obviously, to get to the top section, and it seems to be going quite well so far. It's just taking your time, easing out. The bottom section seems to be one of the most difficult bits to do. Bottom's out. Now I'm going to move on to the other side and trying to ease it out from the top downwards, I guess. I guess one thing to remember as well, that if you've got an alarm system, as I have, you may have a sensor which is a catch, so it needs to touch the male or female end. Just remember that you might not be able to put your alarm on if you have to curtail this halfway through. Okay, the other side's now done. This was the trickiest bit round here. Just need to give it a little bit of brute force around the back of it. And I guess maybe the other tip, I'm doing this on a nice sunny day, and the wind has dropped, thankfully, but I guess to do this on a very windy day may be quite a challenge. And now it's just a question of actually lifting this shell off, which I'm now doing, and it's going to remove the shell like so and show me all the gubbings, showing me where I need to look at to see if there has some spring that's gone. Analysing this, it is quite complicated, but if I turn my key just here, you can see how this mechanism works. So it changes the position of the lock by lifting some levers, which ultimately seems to finish around this section just here. So it's this spring here that seems to have broken. You can see that it's sheared off at the back, and it seems to be possibly coming from here as well. So that is, I think, what needs to be replaced. Now, Chris at Reliance CMS has sent me a list of all the different springs for the different Dethleffs, and I'm going to place this on the screen in a second. So I'm just going to see which one is the best one for me. Here's the broken spring, and by the way, this is a few days later, and this is the one that I've now received, and you can see it's considerably bigger, so I'm hoping that this is going to work. I've taken the old spring out, obviously, and now replaced with the new spring. It was quite difficult to get in, but it does work, so I'm really happy. Okay, the acid test now is whether or not the lock works. So I'm going to close the door, and a tip that somebody gave me was close the door until it clicks and then press again until you get a second click. This means that you don't dislodge any of the mechanism inside. So let's just have a go. And hey presto, this spring has worked. Undo, and I'm really pleased with that. Next job I have is to put the shell back on. Wish me luck. I've started putting it on at the lock side, so I've eased it in, and just to hold the casing in place, I've just put one of the screws back in so it actually does line up. I've now got the skin back on. I've put everything on in reverse to how I took it off. So I've put the casing back over on the latch. I've put the door handle back on with the caps. I've put the bin back on as well, and everything went in quite well. The only tip that I would say is that on this bottom corner down here, this was the last piece to go in, and you basically have to press in and just sort of work it in until it clicks. Just be patient, it will go in. Okay, I'm really pleased with that job. Some tips I wanted to share with you. Number one, take your time. It's not a rush. Don't do it. I guess number two is don't do it when it's windy. The door's going to flap around. You're not going to have a handle. All those types of things. Number three, windy day out there. Number three, buy the correct tools. Look at the tools that I suggested at the start of this video. Number four, contact Chris at Reliance CMS in Sussex. He's very, very helpful, and I was really impressed with the quick turnaround of the spring that was sent to me. Number five, buy more than one spring. This seems to be quite a weak point with these door locks. And number six, if you've enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, why not like the video and give it a thumbs up. Thanks very much. Take care.